Is this thing on?
No, not yet.
I don't know if it's on.
It says live. It says live there, but
I know.
video's starting there.
It's so weird.
Oh,
There we are.
Yeah.
Anyway, Shaman.
I'm Yolanda Harper, and
down
like
here
Hobbs
we have
is
Hobbs.
here. We're kind of like, you got to make room for the Hobbs.
Well, he takes room.
He takes space. That's what he does.
Anyway, I was gonna make a joke and say today we're talking about performance, but not that kind of performance.
It could in fact be that kind of performance, but it's not today.
Right,
it's
right,
not
right.
today. But yes, we are talking about performance.
Performance issues.
Oh my goodness, it's a good start. Remember that time that you signed me up to do a TED Talk?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm. If you haven't heard that story,
I signed her up to do a TED Talk.
He signed me up to do a TED Talk.
Knowing full well she'd do great.
I didn't feel as confident about that in the beginning.
No, you didn't have a lot of confidence in that.
In the beginning.
In the idea. But, yeah. I mean, yeah, you did awesome at it.
So I recently had the opportunity to attend a TED Talk here locally, and that it was really interesting to be on like the audience side of things. And because I volunteered, I was able to greet the speakers and stuff as they were coming in. And I just remembered that kind of nervous, excited energy. But then I also it really made me think about my own prep work for my talk, which was about accelerated resolution therapy. And in fact, I had an ART session
about doing a
shocking
talk. About ART
about doing a talk for ART. So it was really profoundly helpful for me to feel confident in going there and telling my story and getting clear about what my goal was. And my goal was, if one person hears this talk and knows that there's healing from trauma and gets help, then that's success. And I've had the good fortune to hear from several people about how they have heard the talk and reached out for help, and even other clinicians who've decided to become trained in ART after hearing the talk. But the session that I did really helped to uncover some of the underlying things that were there. That would have just kind of
some of those fears, some of the things you might worry about stumbling over, some of the like stuff you get stuck on,
stuff that led back really even to childhood. And it is amazing that this therapy can do that.
Right, and we have kind of a really neat format where you can come and do this therapy in a very intensive environment, for like a very focused and singular event, and something like, I want to say performance enhancement.
No, it is. It is a performance enhancement. So maybe you were planning on giving a TED Talk. Maybe you're an actor.
Right.
Done that before.
Maybe you're giving a State of the Union address.
Maybe you are giving the State of the Union address. Maybe you're an athlete.
Right.
I, as a business owner and an entrepreneur, I've used ART. I've been the recipient of ART, and also helped, clients and intensive participants in those arenas too. So, yeah, it's like you said, it's a really in-depth 2-day opportunity to take a deep dive into
kind of working through
those things.
And it's really something that can kind of help set you up to like perform at your highest level.
Yeah, it can help get clarity about what the vision is, what the performance is. It can address those underlying, the imposter syndrome, those little voices that kind of are,
because there's always that stuff.
And also part of the therapy is like seeing yourself doing whatever the thing is.
Right. So like I can remember like when my father passed away, and we used accelerated resolution therapy because I was presiding over his funeral, and it was very hard to kind of get my mind around that whole thing. But I think through that process and doing that therapy, I was able to kind of lock in and really focus and do what I was supposed to do for my father. And I think it's really neat to kind of not just say, hey, we do this cool thing, but to say, hey, we do this cool thing, and actually done it, and it's amazing.
Yeah, yeah, it is really amazing. I tell people quite often that, Michael Phelps is this amazing athlete, and he's got all of this,
You might
all
have
these
heard of
gold.
him.
You might have heard of them. And I don't know that Michael Phelps has had any ART, but I will say that part of his success is his visualization process.
Mhm.
Like every time he gets in the pool, he sees himself
Right, he's talked about
winning
that
a
before.
race.
Right.
Yeah. And so, that is part of ART, and part of the intensive experience too is like seeing those things come to fruition.
Right, visualizing what this looks like and stepping into that.
Yeah, and so that when you do step into it, it feels completely natural.
Right. It's like, oh wow, I'm supposed to be here.
Yeah. So I
Right.
stood on the TED stage, and I was like, oh, okay. So this is going to unfold this way, and it
Right.
feels good and natural, and
you did great.
well,
You can watch it. I think we'll link it somewhere.
we'll link it. We'll link it. But if you have questions, if you are an author, an athlete, a performer, a speaker,
A manager,
really
a business owner.
applicable.
Yeah, I mean,
Any questions that you might have about how this might work for you, give us a call, 813-434-3639, and we'll have a conversation about whether or not this would be
it's a fit,
helpful.
right?
If it's a good fit, we'll let you know, and if not, we'll let you know that and give you some different options.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Bye,
Have a good
guys.
one.